Welcome to Laricy Live. You want to know what's happening in the real estate market? Then this show is for you. I'm your host, Matt Laricy. Okay, today is what we are seeing in the market so far in 2021, and what we thought is, it's a new year, a new market. We're in January. We want to talk about the state of the market and pretty much what's been going on because it's a new year. New year, new you, 2021, 2020 sucked. So we did what we have been doing. We got together a lot of questions. A lot of our buyers and sellers have been asking us a ton of questions about what's been happening in the market. We took those, our marketing people, our assistants, my agents who have had some questions. We put them all down here, and we're just going to read them off like we have in the past. So what does the market look like so far in 2021? It's on fire. We were probably in one of the biggest buyer markets I've ever seen. Might have been bigger than the Great Recession. And now I would say that we're in a seller's markets in half the markets that we work and a balanced market in the rest. And it's a matter of time till we're in a full-fledged seller's market. I'll call it, we might be a week or 2 weeks out. Maybe by the time you're watching this, we're in, towards the end of January right now. If you're watching this in mid-February, it's, you can already see that it's a full-fledged seller's market then at that point. Is it what you expected? It's exactly as I expected. I've been telling everybody forever. I said that, listen, this is going to be one of the best first quarters we've ever seen. I said, you're going to start seeing the great migration back. Everybody said I was a fucking moron. Now look what happened. I was right. And why was I right? Because you study the patterns. If you look at the patterns in the marketplace, it's very easy to predict where the market's going to go. Are any of your 2021 predictions coming through? Yeah, so far, the great migration back, people coming back to the cities coming through. The renters that wanted to become buyers is coming through. All the people who kicked the can down the road, because remember, COVID hit mid-March last year, so people were forced to rent and re-sign the releases because they're too scared to leave. And so you have a lot of people that, wanted to buy, and now those people are coming out of the woodworks. The other ones I said, listen, you're going to start seeing the in-town market come back. That's a huge market so far already this year. And the other one I said would be kids. Parents buying their places for the kids. That's another market that's coming back yet. My other prediction that hasn't come through yet, which is the international market, I said the international market won't come back to the last 6 months. So that'll be one to watch. Are a lot of properties closing? Yes. Things are flying off the shelves. There are properties. I am getting outbid left and right in Lakeview, Lincoln Park, West Town right now. The heart of the city is still a little bit softer, but things are moving. Our properties, any properties that are still moving slower? Yes, the properties that are moving slower are the ones in the heart of the city: River North, Gold Coast, Cedarville, Loop, New East Side. But the traffic is up, and we've sold quite a few of those places already this year that literally had no showings. Which type of properties are selling the fastest? The ones in the outskirts of the city. Here's the way to look at it, guys. I like to do a Game of Thrones reference, okay? The Great Migration back, it's a line of people coming, and they're storming. They're about to siege our city, and they're going on the outskirts. So the heart of the city, River North, Gold Coast, Cedarville, Old Town, is surrounded by gates, okay? That's the hardest area. The gates are surrounding it. And all the invaders are coming in, and they're knocking off Lincoln Park, Lakeview, West Town. All of those are going in multiple bids. It's a matter of time until they siege the gates flood, fall, and the people flood in and overtake that market as well. So it's starting from the outsides and working its way in, and the market is going to be on fire by mid-February. How does your team feel about the ramp up? They're overwhelmed. I told everybody this would happen. I said get ready for it. I said be prepared not to see your families for 6 months. Everybody said it's going to be fine because we were kind of slow in December and November. And now they're like, holy shit, this is so busy, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe how busy I am. I don't know. And I was like, this is what happened. So, there's a lot of complaining, but, they'll get used to it. It's kind of like when you go from 0 to 60, like literally in like 3 days, it's kind of hard for a second to kind of, you got to like readjust yourself for a second. But they'll catch up. They'll be okay with it. When is the best time to list? January 2nd. So you've missed it. That was the best time because there was no inventory and there was a ton of demand. And, every day that goes by, I think is going to be a worse day to list because I think there'll be more inventory to compete with. But right now, we're actually at a low of inventory when we were at a high before. If you're just deciding to sell now, how quickly can you go live in the market? As quick as your agent can put it on. Like we could go live in 48 hours, okay? Most agents take maybe 5 to 6 days if they're like decent. If they're not good, it's over a week. But technically speaking, you should be able to go live within like 2 to 3 days. It's not that tricky. But also, let's back this up. When I say like it might be over a week, you can't blame an agent if you personally, your property's not ready for it. What trends are the Laricy team seeing out in the field? Multiple bids. The high inventory is now low. See, what we thought would happen is that come Turkey Day, inventory would peak, everybody would take their properties off the market, and they would all be kind of like, too timid to go back on the market right in January. They'd say, you know what, I've had a bad experience, I don't want to sell. April is the best time to sell. And I keep telling people, like, listen, the April, May markets, or April, May are the biggest months, closing months of the year. So if April, May are your biggest closing months of the year, that means people go on a contract in, end of January, February, and beginning of March. So guess what? All these sellers that pulled their property off the market at this high inventory we're at, now the buyers come out of the woodworks. They're flooding the marketplace. There's so many buyers out there, I don't even know what to do with them, and there's no inventory to meet it. So before, we had a shit too much inventory and not enough demand, and now it's literally reversed. And that's exactly what we thought would happen. So when you talk about what are the trends I'm seeing out in the field, that's the biggest trend. Hands down. It's not even close. Not enough inventory, shit ton of demand. Things are starting to sell off market. Every broker I meet's cockier than shit. First showings are here, blah, blah, blah. I got multiple bids. I can't believe how busy I am, etc. Same people that told me 3 weeks ago the world was going to end, that real estate wouldn't exist downtown anymore. Are you making any adjustments to the way you do your business this year? No. Let me back it up. We've already made adjustments heading into 2021. See, we foresaw that the first quarter was going to be crazy. And if you guys have ever been watching these podcasts, since September, I've been saying Q1 will be one of the busiest first quarters you will ever see. I've said this for 6 months. So what I did in November is I prepared the team by altering the way we're going to operate business on our listings to make sure that when we hit go, when January 1st hits, we are going to be ready to make sure that we are able to take the most advantage of the situation, and we've been crushing it. We're not even 3 weeks into the market, and we've sold like probably 40-something properties, and that's because we altered our business model heading into this year. What should we expect for the rest of Q1? Amazing. It's only going to keep getting better. The market's get hotter and hotter and hotter, and guess what? As the market gets hotter, the more confidence comes in the marketplace, the more confidence that comes in the marketplace, the better the market gets. That's what happens. Are any long-standing listings suddenly selling quickly in Q1? I'm not even joking around. I just not even thinking. I could think of 4 listings right off the top of my head that literally had no showings that we sold with multiple bids. I had some guy the other day, I won't call him out on this, but he's like, you'll never sell that at X price. It'll never happen. And I said, I love a challenge. He goes, I'd rather make money. He goes, I'd rather make money. I said, making money is easy, but challenges are hard, and that's what I thrive on. Guess what? That guy made an offer about $45,000 off list price. I sold the place for full ask cash, 3-week close. So what am I seeing here with this? The market's going to keep getting better, and buyers should strap in because it's going to be tough competition. You're going to have to be ready to have multiple bids. And if you watched my 2021 what to prepare for when you buy, you should be prepared because I've talked about this quite a bit. Are there any interior home design trends you're seeing so far this year or that clients are specifically looking for? No, I'm not. And you know what? Everybody was talking. I read a shit ton of articles. I'm a crazy weirdo about seeing this. And every single person that writes these articles say that everybody wants Zoom rooms, and that's going to be it. And I keep telling people, I'm telling you right now, guys, we are at the back half of COVID. 10 years from now, when you look back at history and they study the COVID pandemic, we are now at the tipping point where things are going to start getting better. I get it. The numbers are probably still going to peak in January and February, but we have a vaccine. You're watching this. You probably know 3 or 4 people that have got the vaccine. You were probably sitting in your chair 6 weeks ago saying, there's no fucking way in the world I will ever get a vaccine. You've seen a bunch of your friends get vaccine, and you might say, hey, you know what? Yeah, if I got to get a vaccine to travel, they seem fine. I'm cool with getting it. So guess what? We're on the back half. And do you know what that means? People aren't going to be Zooming anymore. If you have Zoom stock, I'd sell it right now. You may think I'm wrong. We'll see. People like people. Zoom rooms are going to be stupid. They're going to be sitting there vacant. And these trends that everybody said that these were going to do, what are you going to do 2 years from now? When you're not doing Zooms that much? What are you going to do with this little box? And that's the biggest trend that people said would be for 2021. Maybe I'm wrong. We're only a few weeks in. Maybe this thing gets worse. Maybe Zoom rooms are the coolest thing in the world. I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't think they're going to last. How's my new daughter doing? I have a daughter, Remy Blue Laricy. She was born December 14th. She's doing great. She slept a full 4 hours in a row last night. That was great. I have to wake up if she wakes up in the middle of the night. So I was very thankful for it. She's cool. As anybody knows that has infants, they don't really do much. They eat, sleep, and shit, and then they get up and eat, sleep, and shit. So it's over and over again. But she's very chill. My son was constantly waking up, crying, and yelling about God knows what. And I mean, you almost forget that Remy's even there because she's so quiet. How did the rebranding announcement go? How has the feedback been? So for anybody out there, no, we are now called Laricy. We have subcategories for it. This is called Laricy Live now rather than our old name for this. So far, it's gone very good. The feedback's been extremely positive. Maybe you hate this, but I think it's a cool way, and we're trying to change things up. You know, like everybody else, guys. I'm a human being. I'm trying to figure out things, make things cooler, and try to make things better and try to stay ahead of the curve. I don't have all the answers, but I try to test things out. And I thought, fuck it, man. 2021, we've been doing this for 7-8 years. Well, I've been doing this since 06, but we've had the same logo for 7-8 years. Times have changed. We have changed. Let's switch it up, do new colors, do a new logo. And it seems like people think it's cool. I'm enjoying it. Are multiple bids already happening? Yes, multiple bids are the norm. I'm going to say right now, by the time this gets released, which hopefully are 2 days from now, Paul, we are the multiple bids is going to be more normal than properties without multiple bids. In multiple bid scenarios, can sellers raise the listing price? No, you can't. You technically can't counter above ask price. That's a technicality that you can't do. You cannot accept an offer, but if there's multiple bids, it's going over ask price. So that question doesn't even matter. Which neighborhood do you think has the most sales in the year so far? You know what? I've seen the high-end luxury single-family home market. Seems like it's crushing it right now. It's not our bread and butter. I haven't sold anything above $3 million, but I was pulling some comps for somebody, and I saw like how many homes have sold. So I would actually go on a limb and say that I think that market is probably doing better than expected. I would say that luxury high-rises are probably doing the worst so far. How are you handling the stress of the busy Q1 market? Drink a glass of wine every night, but I did that when it was slow too. So honestly, guys, I just roll with the punches. I don't get stressed out. I don't get upset. I just expected this to happen. So I think if you expect it to happen, I've already set my own expectations. So I'm totally cool with it. How do you help your team manage the stress? I call them all the time. I've also prepped them. Guys, I've prepped my team since September, and I did nothing but yell at everybody since November that you better be prepared for this. Now, I did say earlier that they're complaining and bitching and blah, 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 and I get it. But the reality is this isn't like we didn't know this was happening. Like a lot of agents right now, they're super stressed out. They're crazy yelling at you, like freaking going nuts on you because they're super stressed out. Because guess what? These were the people who told you that the market would never come back and nobody would ever live in cities anymore because they read the media articles and they believed it instead of studying the marketplace. We study the marketplace. I look for patterns in the marketplace. I study the data. I say, okay, if this is happening, what does that mean? What is the result of this exact scenario? What does that mean 2 steps from now, 3 steps from now, 6 steps from now? If you do it that way, you can predict the market and then you don't get stressed out. But too many people don't do it that way and they get stressed out. So if anything, my team's mostly stressed out because they're getting yelled at constantly by agents. And for any agent that's watching this, it's just prepare yourself. Be prepared for the market so you don't get so stressed out about this situation. Do you have any clients who previously fired you coming back to have you work for them again? Yes, we did have one listing we got back that we got fired from. They hired somebody else. They hired us back, which is great. I did get fired from 12:01 a.m. this morning. I was fired from a buyer. I don't think they're coming back. I did ask why, and they just said they got a referral that they wanted. I was working with a guy. It happens, guys. I feel like I'm really good at my job. I'm going to get fired. That's how life works. It sucks. I'm not saying it like I'm not mad about it. I didn't sleep that much last night, but you got to learn to understand that you're going to lose. That's what we are. We're all going to be losers at some point in our life. It's not about losing. It's about how you act when you lose. Of course I'm mad and I'm upset and I want to cry about it a little bit, but like I can let that own me and overtake me, or I could, swear about it a couple times, grab a glass of wine, drink it off for a second and then move on with my life. And that's what you got to do when you lose and you get fired. Are you on track to meet your 2021 goals? When will you be able to tell? I mean, we're 3 weeks in. I mean, we got a lot to go. I mean, right now, technically speaking, if we added up how much business we've done already in the 3 weeks and what our goal is, we would crush it. But January to end of May are the best months of the year. Okay, so let me say that again. January to May, best months of the year. So we need to do like 65, 70% of our business in these first 5 months, because I know August is going to be freaking terrible, and November is going to be terrible. So I think we need to make up for those 2 terrible months. That's what I'm doing right now. So when I'm stressed out and we got so many deals going on that I don't even know what to do with myself, I'm like, take a step back, breathe, because we need to make up for August and November. Those are going to be 2 shit months. And that's a good way I game plan to try to do even more business. I know when we're not going to have as many sales, so we got to crush it for it. Let's see. Does the Laricy team have individual revenue goals? Are you involved in setting their goals? Yes, we have to have quarterlies. We're behind. I do a quarterly. We're behind on quarterlies just because we're trying not to meet face-to-face, but we are setting those up this week to try to have our 2021 goals. And I do set them for them so they have that on their plate. Are you still hiring another agent? Yes, we are hiring another agent. We need another agent. We're not like desperate, but I would like to have another agent. So if you're out there looking to join a group, happy to sit down with you and talk to you about it, or Zoom with you. I don't want to sit down with you. No offense. I don't know you, and we'll have to Zoom on that. That's the proper thing to do for now. Will you need more agents to get through the busy season? We don't need more agents. Again, we don't need. I never put myself. If I needed somebody, I would have done this no matter what in December. I would like to have one more person here. It's not a need. How are the burbs doing? The burbs I hear are insane. They're still really strong. I think the burbs are going to slow down though soon. I really do. Could be completely wrong on it, but I do think the burbs are going to slow down. I think we're going to see a ton of inventory hit the market in the burbs this spring. Are you seeing more international activity yet? Nope. I am getting calls. I've gotten, the WhatsApp and the, what's the other one called? WeChat. I've been getting a lot of messages on there. Just people kind of fishing. They're like seeing what's happening in the marketplace. But I'm telling you, with this change of guard that we got coming on here, a lot of people are going to start pulling their money out of the stock market because they know that things might take a hit. And with that happening, people are going to want assets. And I think that's why my biggest theory is that I think the back half of the year, the international markets can come back, because I think a lot of people are pulling their money out of the stock market now, watching to see how the market goes, and then they're going to dump their money into the real estate market. Could be totally wrong, but it's a trend to watch, guys. Do the new international travel restrictions show negative COVID tests enter the U.S. affect the market at all? It hasn't yet, but it will. I mean, people still aren't really traveling internationally for fun. In fact, I don't know anybody I don't even know if we're allowed to do that in Chicago. I don't know I think you have to quarantine technically, and I think they're tracking the international. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. But I will tell you is that I'm not seeing it, but I do think as we head into like the early summer, we're going to start seeing those people come here as a leisurely basis. Are people who moved out of the city last year already moving back in, or is a new group of people coming in from the Great Migration back? Now, it's twofold. We're seeing people who were living with their parents, like young kids. They're like, hey, I saved for the last 6 months, or I stayed at my parents' house in Florida or Michigan or Nashville or Arizona or wherever it was, and they are coming back to the city. I am seeing it in droves, because guess what's happening, guys? Just what I said would happen. People are saying, hey, we might be going back to work in 3 months, and I don't want to commute from, Winnetka or Glencoe or, Schaumburg. So they want to get a place in the city. And their parents are helping them buy that too. That's the other market I was telling you about that would happen. And then we're seeing a lot of the people who just kick the can down the road, like I told you earlier, that want to buy. So yeah, we're seeing both types of people pour into the marketplace. Is there anything you could see throwing off the potential success of Q1? I think there's a lot of conspiracy things that I could throw at you right now that could throw off Q1. But the reality is, if you study what's happening in the marketplace, what's happening in the media really dictates the market, guys. The media can control how you think. And the articles, again, notice, and you think I'm an asshole, you say, oh, this guy's like a crazo. Think about this. Go read the latest articles that have come out. Okay, January 4th, there was an article that said that the mass exodus is reversing. Now, granted, guys, 8 weeks before that, they said nobody would ever live in the city again. Crane's published an article saying like, hey, check out the cool amenities to expect when you go back to work. Not you're never going back again, what to expect in amenities when you go back to work. Other articles are talking about like, how do you ride an elevator again? Other articles are talking about is like what to wear to be safe when you're back at the office. This isn't mainstream media yet, Right now, the articles are being peppered in about like you're going back to work. In the next month or two, definitely in the next month or two, mark my words, you're going to start seeing much more media talk about going back to work. And that's going to be all they talk about. And when that happens, that's going to be the floodgates back to cities. Mark my words, it's going to happen. We'll play this clip to show you again that I was right on this. Is there anything you could? Are buyers and sellers still nervous about COVID? I don't have many buyers that are nervous about COVID because they could dictate whether or not they want to go out, and I haven't been getting too many people say they are. I definitely have sellers that are super nervous about COVID. My older sellers and my sellers who are either pregnant or have a newborn are super nervous about COVID. We're still doing the whole COVID protocol. I think that'll still be the case for the rest of the year. There's going to be a good 25% of the people that no matter what happens, they're going to be super scared by it. And guess what? That's okay. There's everybody should have their own opinion and voice. Everybody should have a way to feel however they want to feel. Some people may have health conditions or are super scared about what's going on out there. So we will do everything we can to have the right protocol so that they can feel comfortable. Some of my clients want to walk around without a fucking mask on. And you're like, hey, you got to get a mask. Put it on and get in the place and don't stand on top of anybody. So there's both ends of the spectrum I see too. I should talk about how some of my guys are completely crazy and want to stand on top of you when you're walking with them. And I'm like, hey, get back a little bit, all right? Give me some breathing room and get your mask back on. Like they're pulling it down and shit. You get on an elevator and they pull it off. You're like, put the mask on. What are you doing? So yeah, I'm seeing people who are scared. I'm seeing some people who just think the damn thing doesn't exist. What are brokers' attitude like lately? Cocky as shit. Every broker I meet right now is the cockiest thing I've ever met in my entire life. Everybody's like, it's the greatest market ever. I can't believe how hot it is. Can you believe how multiple bids are? I'm too busy to show you this, blah, blah, blah. And I swear to God, the people who are acting like that are literally the same people who told me that real estate would never exist in the city again. Same people. So I call them dramatic. But that's the attitude I'm seeing the most lately that drives me crazy. Are you seeing sellers agents not allow showings? Yeah, I'm seeing agents only allow, like it's Monday, property comes on, and they want first showing Saturday at 12. That's what you do when you're really cocky in the marketplace. And you know what? Everybody can act the way they want to act, and good for them. Hopefully they sell the place. But that strategy will only work so well because, it was literally, end of December that you could call somebody at 4 o'clock on a Saturday to meet you there at 4:30, and they'd speed their speed racer to make sure they got in. So it is what it is, guys. The market changes. What's with group open houses now for first showings? I just talked about this. A lot of people are grouping showings together to have them first in and then take multiple bids, highest and best by 5 o'clock on Sunday. You saw that in the suburbs all year last year. This year is now just coming back to the city. That's like a normal spring market. Remember, guys, spring starts in January. January is the new April. I've talked about this my entire career. The January market is very, very strong. What do I think that is going to happen over the next few weeks? The market's only going to continue to get stronger. Each and every day, the market's going to get stronger. It's going to peak in April. May will be very hot. June will be decent. And by July 4th, the market will slow back down and August will be terrible. That's what's going to happen. Watch that roller coaster ride. Strap in. Be prepared for it because this is just the start of the craziness of the 2021 real estate market. So make sure to hit the bell, guys. Tune into our next episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see these things released first. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live. Make sure to tune into our next episode and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.